remind you again. The law can be both a help and a hindrance.
Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
When you're high up, everyone can hear your voice.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild.
Pit,
Iya,
Hah?
pit,
Apa?
iya.
Selasa, ngopi.
Gas.
Ayan, kali-kali.
Ayan,
Apa?
Ayo,
langsung ngopi.
Dek?
Gas.
ayo.
Satu jiwa.
Satu jiwa di.
Jadi satu jiwa.
Di mana ya, Kak?
Iku, dek. Dekete. Loh, lah apa selok? Apa sih nayo ini?
Di pertengahan lah, jangan jauh-jauh.
Oh, diga tugasnya lo Yan.
Oh,
Di rel
anu
gitu.
gua, kayak tugasku ah.
Oh, saya mah ada tugas.
Di rel.
Mitra. Boleh.
Di mana? Di mana?
Bioskop.
Hah?
When you're high up, everyone can hear your voice.
Gak ngerti aku, gak tahu panggon nongkrong. Ersai lo.
Kenapa?
Kau nanti nama Malang dah, Bin?
Tugas. Mari saya wasis Selasa.
Iya.
Apa Elsa?
Dapet lo takok Dendi.
Apanya?
Lo, pit atau pit? Hancur pit.
Apa sih nggak ngerti aku anjir?
Kok tadi tanya di mana? Nongkine lu. Blok, blok, goblok.
Blok,
Ya ntar kan
Goblok.
tahu juga kita. Mana?
goblok,
Anut
Di-
apis wis.
Ya udah,
Terus
satu
baru
jiwa.
dapet, ayo.
goblok.
Luas. Satu jiwa. Satu jiwa yang di mana ya? Lupa aku.
Di itu loh.
Itu. Dia nu.
Iya.
Belakangnya
itu.
Uwin.
Oh iya,
Ayo.
situ enak juga.
Enak, 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 enak.
Di Dermo mau apa?
Yo Dermo pis.
Boleh sih Dermo, enak juga.
Dermo.
Dermo banyak.
Dermo wis tapi jauh nggak sih?
Dari rumahku 10 kilo sih. Dari
10
rumah
kilo?
Alfian kayak. Iya.
Tambah jauh.
Lu ada tekan Dermo kan? Dermo itu ada di
Hmm.
Noyo.
Iya.
Dermo enak itu.
Tapi
Yo, ada aku lah.
Aku adoh iku.
Aduh, aku lah.
Iya jelas.
Kenapa?
Ya, aku lah.
Apa?
Ya jauh aku lah.
Iya.
Ya iyalah anjir.
Paling jauh.
Bacot.
Dulu.
Sekali omahmu saya aku ya.
Meleknya aku anjir.
Tak delok kene streammu.
Alhamdulillah ada
Yalah, sekali-sekali ke
ada
Blitar.
viewer.
Mana Vian? Live streammu? Aku mau lihat.
Iso komen ah.
Masa aja komen.
Weh Novian, aku mau lihat live
Masa aja
streammu.
komen.
Oh, kudu
Live
gawe email
chat.
anuku. Sing ada channel.
Link Vian.
Itu
Oh,
loh.
itu ya? Walah. Ayo kita dukung.
Sorry ada dukungan.
Aku akan subscribe.
Direkap.
Subrek.
Sudah.
Aku mau
Oh, delay sih Yan, streammu ya.
Iya tak delay anu rada suwe
Ya,
gitu.
cuk, kamu mau.
Kita like, dislike aja lah.
Delay rada suwe kok. Aku soalnya normal latensi. Latensi anu. Sana.
Ngeri, udah pro ya kok.
Wah,
Ngeri.
iya toh.
Ngeri. Bang,
Kok tulisannya
Jarang.
satu viewer.
bang cari.
Satu viewer, dua.
Waduh, ngeri.
Dislike.
Oh, asik bisa.
Oh.
Asap break lo.
Oh, benar satu like.
Itu Genshin.
Genshin Impact.
Nggak ngerti aku anjir. Game-game ginian.
Baru download 2 kali tak hapus kok, Bet. Download 2 kali tak hapus 2 kali.
Wah, ini jam lawan.
Aku nggak ngerti anjir game-game.
Boom boom!
Nggak bisa track lagi.
Main
Pas
HP
itu.
kalau mau trade, Bet.
Apa?
Ashes!
Motion to compel!
Suara HP. Suara HP muncul di live stream.
Iya.
Kenapa?
Ya emang betul. Makanya ngomong gini mau.
Muncul dua stream ya? Coba aku ngomongin.
Macam aku lo latensi lah. Aku lo latensi deh, ya.
Back at ya!
Iya anjir muncul di live stream anjir suaranya.
Dan aku Black Desert tapi di
Apa?
Black Desert.
Black Desert. Apian Black Desert.
Incinerate!
Terus saya Black Desert itu so kayak lo ya.
Ngeri.
Main stick.
Iki sajane lo kayak mirip game gacha. Game gacha tapi apa itu?
Iku pay to win banget ah.
Gak kerasa apa itu ini.
Iku ada duel ya. PVP ini aneh ah.
Soalnya gak ada PVP nih, malah gak kerasa lah.
Genshin HP sama laptop apa beda?
Get him! No escape! Bet you can't keep up with me!
Vin,
Power that ended
gue extreme Minecraft juga lah. Nge-lag ternyata.
Invisible motion to compel!
Terlalu nime.
Cirus subscribe lagi, Cirus. Ayo kita subscribe.
Di sini kan.
Ayo kita subscribe.
Subrek.
Ayo.
Langsung viewerku 4.
5. Ayo kita ini kirim di IG linknya.
Nah, ngapain? Masa bisa?
Enggak lah,
Di WA
sekali.
gitu.
Ayo di WA aku kirim, di Probabi, di mana lain.
Lalu di web. Pak,
Di
karena
web.
sudah saya subscribe, saya minta Bapak subscribe channel saya, Pak.
Tonton.
Oke.
Aku kirim di web nih.
Kamu kirim di mana?
Di web.
Ngapain anjing? Jangan,
Aku kirim ya.
jangan anjing.
Ngawur apa itu.
Di basis data aja.
Jangan. Loh. Alhamdulillah.
Gak apa-apa lah, bapaknya baik juga aja. Aku kirim di web lah.
Jangan anjing, yey. Deskripsinya loh.
Habis kirim bis.
Deskripsinya kenapa deskripsinya?
Gak sopan.
Cok kesel kenapa? Ganti.
Gak mau.
The key here is consumer psychology.
Repot kalau ganti.
Kirim lah.
Jangan anjing.
Kayak kirim.
Waduh, kok sekarang di blackmail lo nur kalian. Aku di blackmail tolong.
Gak kirim anjir.
Dulu.
Anjir gak kirim.
Dulu. Hapus anjing.
Anjir
Eh,
Repli ah.
Anjir gak kirim anjir. Woi, kayak mana delete-nya?
anjing.
Repli lah.
Hapus
For
jing.
everyone kan?
Ipit kok kirim itu kenapa goblok?
Sometimes the law is compatible with human nature, but sometimes the two conflict.
Ngawur,
Balancing the two is a discipline in its own right.
Tahu janji amit. Tahu janji amit.
Salah.
Tahu janji amit.
Salah anjir.
Ah,
Bapak itu kan baik.
ngepamur.
Banget.
Bapak baik lah. Pak Ahmad.
Semoga pakai WA.
Gokil.
Gokil. Klik. Subscribe.
Nanti
Aku kirim di grup Pancasila lah. Aku kirim grup Pancasila. Aku kirim grup Pancasila aku lah. Gak kenal anjir aku. Cuma kenal Bintang sama Rosid.
Asli. Guys.
Ah, children, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Lea Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more.
Gak paham amit.
In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads
Terus
together
cara
to think of what
struktur
sort
data.
of gift we might give you in return.
Oh kan dorong ah? Setas mari. Mang, setas jangan.
Ayo
Iku
kita
lo jawabannya
nonton.
tak send dek, send jawaban.
A gift? For Paimon?
Tapi ku gak kabeh iku.
Oh, child,
Iku kan bagian
you are
tengah
so
karo
very
akhir kok.
modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it.
Kan pula tadi aku
When you
ya.
traversed my
Iki sing
old teapot in
sindi,
search
kan
of the
ono telu, ah.
cleansing bell,
Huh?
I heard your little friend mention that you often camp
Aku
out
iku
in the
sing ngerjakno
wilds.
sing C++ sik.
That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of
Ayo
you.
subscribe Alfian.
Oh ya Pet, kualitasnya gimana Pet? Enggak buruk
Bag-
kan Pet?
Enggak, bagus kok. Bisa diatur.
Ini burik ya apa tuh?
Fortunately, I
Ini
have not yet
720,
grown so
1080.
old
bisa.
as to see my
Plus.
subspace creation
Macet Bimo ini.
abilities atrophy.
Masih Pet?
Macet kau Bim.
Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous
sendawa pula.
pocket world. The teapot
pula
that you
kau.
entered previously was a little trinket
Huh?
created using that ability.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for
Wes
now.
apa iki dhewe kamu
The
baik.
gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing
Aku
touch.
kira
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need.
aku kirim di
What's
Minecraft
more,
server anjir.
I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days. Well, for starters,
Nanti kamu
I
di-ban.
require some
Gara-gara
shimmer
promosi.
soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh.
Enggak lah.
Back in the day, it could only be
Masih
found where
ingat.
the glaze lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glaze lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small
kita
patch
lihat
of shimmer soil
live
there.
stream.
But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact,
Bentar.
harmful to humans.
Oke, udah. Aku mau add sesuatu. Khusus habit.
Apaan? Apaan, Cok?
Nah. Nanti lihat di streammu.
Hmm?
Well, since
Masih
you're an
delay lama
Adeptus,
loh.
Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an Adeptus too, right?
Yes. I suppose she
Jadi apa
does
gue?
count as an adeptus.
Betul. Anjing itu berarti.
Bang, jadiin aku mod.
She
Cepet
counts?
aja.
How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few
bodoh.
of my old
Ngapa
friends are
kau taruh
rather
namaku?
fond of
Ngapain jadi
mundane
potek?
mortal life,
Kau
after
kirim juga
all.
di ini ya di YouTube, di web.
Jangan anjing.
Apa soy? Aku kirim di web.
I'm back, Granny.
Dadar tak ada.
Woi,
Iya, tak hapus. Duh,
hapus.
tak hapus loh.
Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Ah, allow me to do the honors.
Weh, yang
This
tuh.
child here is Yen Fei. She's the one helping run some errands for me.
Jangan blok.
Yen Fei, I believe you've already heard of the traveler and her traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written
Mana,
about
Cok?
you in the
Nggak
Millilith's
dihapus.
records.
Udah,
Oh,
lihat
udah.
tuh.
Udah.
You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yenfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yenfei, all right.
On cam
Let's
bang.
get to the
10
business at hand.
subscriber on
I
cam
do
bang.
not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment.
Nanti
10
kalau
subscriber.
aku streaming also nanti open cam aku.
Oh.
You'll have to
Bang,
excuse
open cam, bang.
Yenfei.
Live
She's
stream.
always been like
Ya,
this,
stream.
ever the
20
talkative one when it
subscriber
comes to her
giveaway,
own
bang.
affairs.
Giveaway
20
Ducati.
subscriber giveaway. Oh,
Giveaway
anu,
Ducati.
lah aku nyampe 100 subscriber, nanti aku giveaway pulsa.
GoPay kek.
OVO,
Pulsa.
OVO.
Oppo.
Mau 100.000 lah.
Mau dong.
I was gonna ask the same
OVO
question.
10.000.
You seem really
Beda
different
OVO
from the
sama
ones
GoPay
we've
apaan?
met before.
Sama aja kan?
Ya OVO wae Grab. GoPay
An
wae.
Adeptus?
Ojek.
I guess, kinda.
Iya.
My old man said
Tapi
he was one
bisa jadi
anyway.
uang juga kan? GoPay, OVO.
Anu, di Tokopedia iso nggak GoPay season apa ora? Anu, dik.
Tokped karo lek Tokped. Gak iso THL ku.
Tokped emang bisa OVO?
He
Eh,
mentioned that he
ekspresi
once
post-fiksi
campaigned with
opo
Rex
maneh.
Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for Smaragdus Jadeite. I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like the Ministry of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? But Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yenfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly, after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya. Ah, found him. Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some. Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Lali aku.
Besok matkom
Matkom. Open everything.
sama struktur data. Iya kan?
Konserver data.
Ngantuk.
Hello, Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today?
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of smaragdus jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize, I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhi Qiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
Wait, isn't smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhi Qiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhi Qiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Zhi Qiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
So, are you buying or not?
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Miss Zhi Qiao? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins? I can't lend them to you right now. I've lost them. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices.
That's what the hairpins were for, well, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Miss Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow.
Yan.
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Jawab mau
Apa? Jawaban apa iku?
tur.
Struktur data.
Iku wis dikirim lho.
Di
Set jawaban. Ya, di set jawaban.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossel the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Iku 600.
Even higher. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks like she's about to faint.
Empty.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Songo.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be
Data
able to find
pointer.
out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to
Address of
start by
second
finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no
all of
longer
these
be
are
any
true.
need to check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Wah, gue like Wisis.
Seems right.
Iku
Please.
Ada yang
Please,
tumbal anjir.
Siji ya kak yo.
Don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item and I should pay
Kok ana
compensation. per the
pembetulannya yo?
contract.
Ndak kon salah siji.
Telu.
However
Kok ana
much it is,
pembetulannya
I
pisan.
will have to pay it. My family
Baik,
are
apa
merchants
namanya?
after all.
Berapa banyak?
It's
Nol.
vital that we keep our word
Nol.
and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any
Kay
longer.
list is not a sample of
I'll go and
list.
inform him of the issue and
Ikonik.
then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action.
Sing
But before that, I have some
biru.
questions about the
Biru
hairpins.
muda.
So hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you
Oh,
first touched
ding.
the hairpins,
Elek kon.
what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were
Ya,
perfectly
aneh ya.
smooth to
Kamu
the
emang ngono
touch,
ya?
like the finest quality jade.
Telu.
My family has seen much
Berpikir
jade pass through its
100.
hands in the past, so I am quite certain of
Kan
my
duitnya
judgment in
apa
this
ya?
matter.
Ya,
Smooth to the touch. Finest quality jade. No, it's nothing.
lanjut dik.
I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossel's.
Alah. Firewall sampah.
Ini kakean bisa di.
Kakean kaki cikai.
Tadi
Oh, si layer
misalnya.
2,
Okay,
3,
you've
4.
returned. With Ms.
Itu
Juqiao and
muncul.
Poe, too, I see. How are the
Okay.
hairpins? I
Binary
trust you're
tree.
quite satisfied with them?
Iya.
Binary tree. Sing abang.
About that.
Oh, mau mana yang lain?
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry. I'm
Sing
sorry.
pre-order
Truly, I
iku
am.
di
I'll pay the compensation
kiri.
as per our contract.
Sing
Every last mora.
pre-order kiri. Terus sing
Mora?
siji iku kanan.
Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that smaragdus
Ono
jadeite?
rong nomor pokok iki iku. Sing pre-order kiri,
I
sing
just don't-
siji iku kanan.
Forget it.
Titik
Pocket
E.
won't bring them back.
Sing
Since Miss
kiri
Yanfei
dewe.
is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
kasus.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes. And if I may just confirm again, it was in fact
Oh, salah
genuine
lagi.
smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the
Bener.
hairpins, correct?
Kandane sing
Of
pre-order kiri.
course.
Oh,
Genuine
iya,
article
bener-bener.
guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
Papat ya.
All right,
Value.
understood. I'll conduct some
No,
market
Papa.
research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation.
Paling terakhir.
Please wait here, Mr. Crossell.
Ya.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Pre-order.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please
Oh,
wait, Mr.
begini.
Chow. I have something to discuss with you.
15, 27,
It's not convenient to
70.
speak here, so
Kuning.
let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Oh iya benar.
Oh, ingatanku kuat ya.
Iya weh.
None of the
Apa
above.
digoleki?
Sing apa?
Iki sing terakhir iki.
Iki sing wali emang sing kiri kan saiki sing kanan berarti titik E.
Anu ah, sing pos ah.
Yo sing post
Sing pos
order
itu
tengah
kanan.
berarti ri. Tengah ri. Ke tengah. Ah, kayak lemot itu.
Miss
Cacat di.
Yanfei, what is this about? Are you
Oh iya.
are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No.
Anjay
What I
satu.
wanted to talk about
Memang
is
limo.
there is a chance that the
Iki
ore inlaid on
itu.
those hairpins may not be smaragdus
Wis
jadeite
iki
after all.
sembarang wis salah no kok oleh pembetulan no.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already
Reference
sneaked off and
jelas
found them?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer,
the-
let alone a
the
member of the
left.
guild. I
Opo
don't run
mang?
thankless,
Left.
time-consuming errands
Wes
for a living.
ojo.
Let's just say
Ojo lah,
I made
ojo
some
bener
deductions.
kabeh. Sumpah kamu.
Aku
I don't know if Granny told you this,
80%,
but
80%,
smaragdus
100%.
jadeite is found
Mantap.
deep underground
Nah,
and
aku
contains
mang
very
limo,
concentrated
songo
elemental
satu
energy.
ayo. Ayo teko limo lho aku.
Aku 8 songo-songo. Masuk ya.
Lek gak
Lah,
apa-apa,
aku-
sik asik. Lah
8970.
100.
If mere
Dapat
mortals come
masuk
to
lah, aku
contact
teko
with it,
limo.
well, they'll be sick in the best case.
Wes
And
mari
in
ayo.
the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of
Mari,
personality.
dadah.
Most
80,
certainly would not be
91.
smooth to the touch.
Cacat ngetok aja.
Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the
Login.
hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly
Aku
fine the whole
sih
time.
tak
Not
jadi
even the
positif
slightest
sih.
bit unwell.
Oh,
I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Apa?
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossel's vicinity. If I have
Sondik,
deduced
sondik.
correctly, he
Oh.
may still have the smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his
Oh,
dirty
kok
scam
dumali,
right
Nak?
to his face.
Absolutely not. If we were to
Akun
confront him
potong.
now, there's no way he would admit to
Nah,
it.
yot.
Eventually,
Sana
he
lu-
would find
oke,
some
aku
argument to
potong.
compel us to leave.
Iya enggak akun potong, tapi wong
And
iso
then
takon.
he'd throw the smaragdus
Ini
jadeite into the
siapa
sea
itu?
the moment we were gone.
Losta kau
After
masih
that,
jawab belum
he would
mari.
simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract.
Bingung
He would
aja.
lose nothing.
Kok ngamuk?
Meanwhile,
Ini ya.
we would have to look under
Tulisan paling
every stone in
bagus.
Liyue,
Paling
hoping
apa
and
tuh?
praying
Lalu.
that the hairpins do actually still
Terusan
exist
yang-
somewhere in this world.
Ini apa jenenge?
So vivid that
Grade-nya
Pahaman thinks
tinggi.
it might be
Grade-nya
experience
tinggi.
talking.
Oh ya
Tinggi.
breaking.
Oh, it certainly is.
Andalan nih.
I've seen my fair share of
Wis andalan
situations
kok
like
kok
this, and brute force
apit
methods
ae.
are certainly
Apit.
one way of
Oh,
resolving
andalan.
them. Fortunately, I
Andalan.
have
Oh,
far more
andalan.
elegant solutions at my disposal.
Bang Meri.
I'll share them with you in due
Murah,
course.
Well,
murah
then,
meriah tapi ya
since you're
8.000.
so experienced in dealing with problems like
Meni
this,
iku esuk
perhaps
matlok
you could help
dhisik.
me, Miss Yunfei.
Maton.
Oh, that won't be a problem.
Itu hitung-hitungan.
But first, Mr. Chow, can I ask
Masuk.
you to please
Peren
sign this
nge-scan
contract?
nge-scan.
Huh?
Heeh.
Does there have to be a
3 hari tuh
contract for
kayaknya.
everything?
Tuh ada sing
Apa?
I can't even keep
Kang
track.
cepu lho. Anak kang cepu Mas Kong.
Feels
Apa?
like Yanfei is even more concerned
Malam.
with him than a certain someone else we know.
Kang Cepu nyayat.
Nih ke Discord.
Oh. Walah. Kang Cepu.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yunfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages. Paimon's all out of brain
Okay.
juice again.
All right, that should do it.
Okay.
My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy.
Malam. Segini.
Not for now, no.
Bye.
Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to
Sounds
resolve once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus jadeite myself. I noticed
Nanti
strong
make
traces of
apa sih lo?
geo-energy around Mr. Crossel, so
Kan liat-
perhaps he has, in fact,
Delok,
secured some.
Mereka mati muring-muring
Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way,
Artinya
it's
lah
a lead.
koncoy.
As long as we follow
Yes,
it, who
mirip-
knows?
mirip
We
anu.
might just be able to get our hands on
Mirip
some
Sopo ini.
Smaragdus jadeite. Also,
Minta
no,
if
lah,
you
semoga
know
ikut
someone
jago.
abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it. But again, let's not dwell on
Anu lah,
this.
Fahmi.
Let's go to...
Nah, menurut dewe ngono lho.
Where can we
Di Fahmi.
find someone who processes ore? Ha! I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade
Fahmi.
Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore. If Mr. Crossel had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Dia sinau beda ta.
Sini mau.
Tapi masalahnya Bennett iki elek lek digawe hyper.
Eleknya.
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh,
Gak cocok lah
it's you,
ngambil
Miss
rolku.
Yanfei. Is something the matter?
Sideline.
Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear on all that is sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnayan merchant named Krosel, you say? I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus jadeite. That was the first time I'd
Yo,
ever
jam 11
encountered
di
it,
kono.
so I had no way of telling if it was really
Lali
Smaragdus
aku.
jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me
Gak
to
ikut
contradict
Lip.
them. He was quite
Kenapa?
generous with his money
Aku
too, so I didn't give it too much
Enggak.
thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Makrab WSE aja aku nggak ikut kayaknya nih.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Minggu depannya kan ya.
Why,
usah, Lip.
yes. It was my
usah aktif,
first
Lip.
time encountering this ore, after
Itu
all,
acaranya
so
sebenarnya
I
nggak wajib
kept a
sih.
few loose shavings to study myself
Refreshing.
later. They're right over there, in fact.
Malam apa?
Thank you, sir.
Makrab.
I'll take a look at them.
Makrab
Makrab.
refreshing yo. Oke. Oke. Refreshing.
Makrabnya sini lah, Bo.
Refreshing. Yo nggak sah. Refreshing nggak sah.
Huh? If
Yeah,
my
really.
eyes don't deceive me, the
Ya,
cross
hilang
sections
ada.
of
Kalau
the
aku
bones
tidak
is
kata
that
makrab ya.
Cari
these are
arti
Smaragdus
tema ini.
nephrite shavings.
Oh iya, makrab party kan yo,
Yes.
lali yo.
It's not particularly
Bang.
rare, nor is it especially valuable.
Ngono iku lho apa?
It's used to make jewelry
Yo
all the
wis
time.
seneng-seneng. Iya
I've
party
heard
kan
it said that
tadi yo.
Smaragdus
Jenenge
nephrite is in
makrab
fact
ya
an
seneng
Aku-
outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite,
Aku ngamer.
though no one's ever proven
Emang
it.
Ada party, sing kenal.
ya party kan sembarang-barang
If you
lah.
must see for yourself, try
Loh,
examining these
arti-
shavings for
ngamer
traces of
arti
elemental
ngamer.
energy.
Ngamer.
Smaragdus nephrite is an
Makrab
entirely
jenenge
ordinary
malam
ore
keakraban
containing
yo,
no
seneng-seneng ta
elemental
berarti.
energy whatsoever.
Seneng nemen.
Is that so?
Apa
We
mendekatkan.
might as well give elemental sight a shot.
Diri kepada
So,
Allah.
did you find
Yang
anything?
mana basicnya?
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao
Apa,
was
Bib?
able to tell what it
Ora-ora.
was just by looking at
Mbak
the
ini
shot?
kuat, Bim.
That's pretty
Iya sih,
awesome.
Glory.
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time.
Sing kuwasa.
These two stones actually look
Mati
very
lagi.
similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the
Enak-enak
movement
kok
price.
kami di
And
alipis
enak.
I'm sure the significant difference in the
Enak-enak.
cost of having them carved into shape.
Makrab tuh ikut lip.
All right,
Seneng
Enak
let's
temenan
focus
apa
up.
ora
We're
makrab
going
itu
off on a
kenal.
tangent.
But never mind, Sugar.
Enak.
Ya gak enak.
Why would Mr. Crossel?
Loh, makrab itu enak.
Makrab.
Unusual actions have
Sing gak
unusual
enak iku
reasons
diklat.
behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back to
Iya.
Chateau.
Berkedok diklat berkedok makrab.
Iku gak rumane lek iku.
Miss
Kok tahu tuh
Yanfei,
wae makrab berketot
might I
diklat.
be so bold as to inquire?
Nah,
I
ini
think you
ini
just
tahu.
confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossel did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact
oleh-
Smaragdus jadeite, did he not?
Demi kamu.
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here,
Hilang.
it says quite clearly, one chunk
main.
Smaragdus jadeite,
Udah, Lip.
uncut.
Proposal,
Then
HKI.
I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record
proposal-
and these stone shavings?
Proposal
Of
dikit lagi.
course. But
Tinggal biaya
might I
sama ada
ask
data-data itu.
why you need them?
Terus sama satunya.
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes.
Satunya apa?
Please sign here on this affidavit.
pelaksanaan.
This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone
Terus,
shavings originated from
Apa itu
the
namanya? Buku
uh,
manual buku itu.
ore that Mr. Crossel brought to your store.
Karis, nunggu
Please
kamu
read it
selesai
carefully.
Hmm.
Wah, itu gak kena kandang.
I see.
Males
I
ngarap
see.
ini.
Forgive me for
Potong
asking
apa, eh?
again, Miss Yanfei. But
Mari asli
might
nih, Kak.
I
Belum
know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
online.
I wouldn't say there's been an
Sistem
incident,
asli
just a
nih.
minor issue. Thank
Kurang
you,
ya?
sir. I'll take these with me.
Ya, mek opo, mek ganti itu lho.
Crossel won't dare try to deny what he did.
Sing
On
koyo
the
tulisan
contrary, this is
Sing
far
tulisan
from
akeh koyo
sufficient
di
to build a
di
case.
itu
We need to
tulisan
find
akeh sing koyo
something a
di
little more
sikat jari ku lho,
compelling.
lek kon ngetik wakeh ngono
If
iku
you want to make
iso
jewelry,
di
you need a professional
Ya.
jewelsmith. Let me think.
online teks lah.
Jewelry.
Wis mari sih tapi.
Hmm,
Mang
nope. Aha! Got it. Sing
Kok ya
Si.
wis mari.
She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Kan dia rek. Bongkol ya.
That was quick.
Liburan.
How come you know so many people?
Kurang ajar.
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day.
Mana Vian?
Mana
As you
Kori?
know, Liyue Harbor is the
Katanya
city
live
of
stream.
contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws,
Hindi.
are very important to
Setuju sih,
us.
An.
But the amendments made by the
buruk
Tianquan to
nih.
our laws are
1080.
unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems
Bagus,
like they're
anjir.
hard to understand and
Enggak
impossible to
naon
finish.
yo paketanmu itu.
Ya boleh live comment Yan. Live comment ya.
Top. Wake up top chat. Chat. Live
Kok aku
chat.
buka di Discord.
20 subscriber giveaway pulsa kali.
Wah,
As
aku buka di
such,
Discord.
legal
gak iso live
advisors like
comment.
myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's
Kok
hard
ono
to
tulisane
understand
gak
and
Serenita
impossible
Pot
to
Collect
finish?
Crimson Agate apa iku?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
You memorized them?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a
Anjir, aku
legal
nggak
advisor's bread and butter, you know?
email
Iya selalu
Oh, this has
nggak
nothing to do with
email
being an
asli
adeptus.
anjir.
I just like reading things.
Again with that casual tone.
Bapak wis.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Singsi.
Iki apa iki? Unggalin Drive source code program ya boy.
Ya iku
Website.
source code teko anu mo.
Anu, link gede GitHub-mu.
Lah gurung aku gurung ngumpulnya wis market market kompetitif apa boy?
Ya wis, enak ta.
Matamu.
Anu wis mbok pencet koyo
Ya wis kon centang kaya kali.
Kecentang dewe.
Join the adventure.
Terus kasih dibuka nih.
So restricted.
Oh,
Lo
Miss
iku lho
Yenfei,
berkas
it's
hak
you.
cipta.
Has something
Uniku
happened?
lho.
Lek berkasih
Did the client
kan
from last
buka
time
formnya langsung kecentang
Have no
otomatis.
further
aja.
trouble from then on? Yes, of
Aku
course.
gurung
I'm just here to ask
unggalin
you a few
Google Drive source
questions.
code lho padahal.
Has a
Market
merchant by the name
komplit
of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Crosel. Yes, I remember him.
Yo
He's
wis
a merchant from
diancentang lah
Snezhnaya,
iso.
no? Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called Smaragdus jadeite.
Not apa ya?
Opo ya,
The
ono lek
design of
siji
the
yang
hairpins that he
sing
gave
lek
me
yang
was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a
Bapak, aku main
very
solo.
long time,
Dadah.
and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Lurus.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be
Loh,
found here.
tekan komen komen.
Miss Singsi, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not
Untung
assume
aku main
that
tak
the
kira aku
material he
beban
presented
dewean
to
ya.
you that day
Di
was
Pak
called
Noel
Smaragdus jadeite?
Ada temannya. Awas pilih waduh beban rek aku rek. Ternyata tidak. Ada yang lebih parah.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
3,7.
The hairpins were made using many
3,1
expensive
ono
materials,
mang.
and the asking price was
udah,
quite
anjir, aku
high,
paling
so
enggak,
we had to put this
3,7.
transaction on record with the Ministry of
kon
Civil
lah.
Affairs.
Tak kira samit nang.
Mr. Crossel wasn't very
Kon be
familiar
anu
with the
4,
necessary
4,
procedures,
piro.
so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself.
anjir.
The item is called Smaragdus jadeite twin phoenix pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Singsi. Now, could you let me
Mengharap
borrow this
puas,
document?
mengharap
Sure,
kuis,
it isn't serving much purpose here anyway.
proposal,
I take it then that there's been some more
Hari ini
trouble?
nggak ada poster.
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue.
Ngeri.
I'll return your document
Wih,
as soon
bawa.
as I'm done with it.
Nang
Thanks again.
Facebook.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to
Mari
assume
ngono keren
someone
jujur.
or something is in trouble?
Pensiun ayo.
I believe we have almost all the
Nah,
evidence we
wajib.
need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
The weirdo
Apa
with the
ringan?
snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Because only
Ngirim
he
apa ya?
can provide an authoritative statement
Mortal
confirming that Smaragdus
Kombat.
jadeite is harmful to the human body.
Masih loading anjir.
Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case
Omang
up.
lali mateni laptop emang.
Terus
Ya ono kon mang sih moro metu.
Iyalah.
Ini sih mang aku mentok mulai mang. Moro jam 5 lah ya mari maghrib.
Krungu suara gua.
Metu kan. Kak sih ngapa orang ngrungokno.
Ya.
Enggak, mang aku mudun iku mek kate mangan tok. Oh lali.
Lah kono mengisi enggak sih?
Oh, iya ngising kan. Moro turu. Moro turu mangan. Mas lali sampai maghrib.
Moro tak tag iku gak sih?
To what do I owe the
Moro
pleasure?
nyawur.
Though I'm afraid that if
Minta
you're looking for
taruh
our
nih.
Chi-Chi, she's out
Direct
doing
lah.
hers. And if it isn't Miss
Enggak.
Yenfei as well. Now that's an even
iya,
rarer
Iya,
honor.
iki lho.
What business brings
Opo,
you
ayo
here,
Iya,
my
tapi aku
boy?
gak balik.
Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt.
Iya, paling bosnya.
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus jadeite.
Smaragdus jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 mountain treatises. The 7 mountain treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality and their illness will only ever get worse.
Apa nggak cheat?
Anyway,
Bukan
I'm
cheat
sure you
anjir,
didn't come
itu
all the way
tambahan.
just to chit-chat. Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus jadeite.
Di Minecraft itu ada sendiri buat
If you would be so kind, Dr.
Cheat
Baiju.
artinya curang.
No
Minimap
trouble
nggak
at all.
curang.
It's just a
Kalau curang
single
udah kena ban.
document. Won't take me a
Kamu.
moment. I would mention,
kamu.
though,
Kan
that you are not the only
bermain
one who's
curang
developed
juga
a
kan, pakai
curiosity for
minimap.
Smaragdus
curang nggak kalau
jadeite.
ngakoni.
A Smaragdus
bolehin kok.
merchant came to ask me about it
Nah.
not long ago.
Tadi kan
But
cheat.
after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment.
Mulai
I
panas,
wonder, Miss
muncul.
Yanfei, if your pressing business might
Kenapa
be
sih kalian
related
iri
to
banget?
the Snezhnayan
Iri
merchant.
banget, Cibet.
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju.
Blok.
Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
Anjir.
You're too kind. Take care now.
Itu tadi mama.
Ini barangnya salah.
Guys, you guys,
Ya udah
what
mati
is ever?
lagi.
Show me your
Is it
prescription.
just Paimon, or does it
Tambah
feel
kayak
like he
mati.
was fishing
Why?
for something back there?
Why?
Bisa
Dr.
disini
Baiju's
Kenapa
always been
nih?
like that.
Kan nggak seneng sampai
Well,
aku
we
ya.
have the evidence we need.
Nggak seneng.
Let's go find Mr.
Nggak
Cross.
seneng aku ambek kon.
Anjir, cringe
Ngomong
lho,
gue.
lek wong anu ngomong Jawa iku cringe.
Lah iya. Wah, seneng
Sampai
lho.
aku.
Aku ora seneng ambek kon. Opo
Miss
trimo.
Yanfei, have you finished your
Aku nggak
investigation?
ngomong Jawa
I
anjir.
trust you will now
Pasti
be in
nggak
a
cocok
position
sama
to
lobatku.
assess the compensation
Ya
due.
bocil warnet lho.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount
Main
payable.
Free Fire lah. Enggak.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors,
Mas,
Miss
Oh,
Yanfei?
lagi itu opo Mas?
Of course.
Proporsi senjata waya
According
tuh
to the
proporsi.
stipulations of the contract,
Mr.
Cross.
Warnet.
you must pay
Terus,
Mr.
Mas,
Chow
Amin,
10
main
times
apa?
the original transaction price in
Main
Mora.
PB.
Aku tahu nih, Dek Dio. Dek sing gawe KTP lho.
Iya.
Kan koncoku ya.
Wait, what?
Oh, parah nih.
Me pay her?
Enak-enak
Surely there's been some kind of mistake,
enak
Miss
main PUBG
Yanfei.
lho. Oh, kok Mas PUBG ya? Lanang wedok.
Not at
Eh,
all.
Bocil lah.
Itu
According
Free
to my
Fire.
investigations
Bocil
and
lah.
the material evidence
Iya.
that we've gathered, the
Lapo
substance claimed to
bocil
be
ono di
Smaragdus jadeite that was
dispen
inlaid
tuh.
within the Smaragdus jadeite twin
Bu,
phoenix
aku
gems
kaget
that
tau,
you
kan
rented
aku
out to Mr.
dari
Chow
koncoku
was,
Bang,
in
ngomongnya.
fact,
Di
Ya mereka
Smaragdus
pengen
metal.
nongol.
Jomblo
Terkenal.
iya paling.
Terus saya sombong kayak
Paling gue
sama.
yang ngono lho. Dispen tuh kono bocil lah aku. KTP.
The contract states very clearly
What's
that
up,
10
bocil,
times the
kayak
price shall be
KTP,
paid
gitu.
should the article not be
Aduh.
genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Aku pengen main dek warat ya ngono. Males risih aja
Material
gitu aku terus.
evidence? What material evidence? Why,
Tapi
Miss
tak ada
Yanfei,
sampai
you
nongol,
cannot
Mas.
frame me like this.
Pas sama
I spent a huge sum to obtain that
Iya.
Smaragdus jadeite,
Ate sama
and
aku
yet
mas
you
capek mas
claim
yo.
that the ore inlaid on the
Saya
hairpins
gak
is
main
somehow
lho, mek
fake.
delok itu.
I demand to see
Kalau
the
anu
evidence.
jur apa feelingmu? Mas,
Only a
15
testimony
menit
from
tak
an
gawe ini
expert
wis Mas
witness
yo.
involved in the processing of the ore
Lumayan
can
kayak
serve as an
login.
authoritative assessment of
Aku aja
whether it is
login Mas,
genuine.
sak tahun.
Traveler,
LS iku.
please produce
Jangan
the
zaman
evidence in
ini.
question.
Sing hero
Lu
permanen
This
nih lho.
is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along
bocil di
with
sini kayak
stone
gitu ya?
samples and an affidavit
Iya.
signed by the business owner
Iya.
Chateau.
Kalau di Batam gimana?
Seriously? Even the
Enggak,
boss
enggak
there
ada.
couldn't differentiate between
Oh lah,
Smaragdus jadeite
Enggak
and
ada
Smaragdus
bawaan
nephrite. How does
Apa
this
sing
prove
gojil?
anything?
Dek kono kan
In any
warnet
case,
duwe komputer
Smaragdus
kabeh ri.
nephrite is the outer
Sugih
layer
di
of
kono.
Smaragdus jadeite.
Soalnya
So I had him cut away the nephrite. He returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
Kau nak mendoin
Sing garek
Unsubstantiated
guyu.
belief.
Oh ini loh sing garek guyu.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated.
kurang
And
apa
we
ya
are
ngomongnya?
here to talk
Gak
about
bisa anjir.
evidence, aren't we?
Gue aneh itu.
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of
Kurang
evidence didn't
titik
convince him
kurang
at all.
penekanan
Seems
anjir.
like he came prepared.
Kurang
Ya
penekanan
wis
gitu.
penekanan tapi yo
Hard
aneh.
evidence. Something
Nggak
worth
bisa anjir.
finding.
Logatku
We have
nggak
just the
susah.
thing.
Pakai
Show him,
logat Jawa.
traveler.
Ya
Belajar beda
lama-lama
apa duit.
kebiasa.
Makanya gak usah bilang Jawa
This
anjir.
document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't
Nggak
it?
pakai
This is the
nggak usah
ministry's
bahasa
seal,
Jawa.
after all.
Bilang
It
Jawa.
shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is
Opo meneh
indeed
yo
Smaragdus
jagone sama
jadeite.
gak masuk.
Jawa,
Piece
Jawa.
of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
Ya cewek-cewekku
You know, you could be
wis
right.
terang dini.
Coba kau
Perhaps the
logat
hairpins are
ini,
the real
ya,
deal after all.
logat Batak.
Of course I'm right.
Gak bisa
All
anjir
the
Batak
evidence
itu
shown
gimana?
supports my story.
Well, hang on a
bisa.
moment
Ya,
now,
ya iku mah
because
kayak
I do recall
Apik
one final
ngomong.
piece of evidence that
Itu
we
kan
haven't
bakal-
revealed yet.
Iya, itu kan lebih kayak ke Batak juga sih, Melayu
Traveler,
Batak.
would you do the honors?
Melayu kesel gak?
Melayu
Bet?
banter.
This shall serve as decisive proof of our case.
Melayu.
Iku gila.
What's this?
Opo yo guyonan iki
Smaragdus
elek lho,
jadeite
Bapak.
springs forth from stone marrow
Ya,
within the
awakmu
mountains
sing anu
and will bring
bertemu.
disaster to
Kau yang
any
Kau
mere
yang
mortals
ngomong
who
anjir,
touch it.
Melayu
Iya,
banter,
aku
Melayu
Iya,
banter.
Sustained
bet
contact
bingung
with
kali.
Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases,
Apa?
cause a mild malady,
Adik.
while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus
Giring-giring ya lucu
jadeite?
sih anjir.
I had
Melayu
no
banter.
idea.
Hah?
No
Melayu banter?
idea, you say? I'd guessed as much.
Nanti ya Farid.
But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls
Turun,
outside the
Bay.
scope of my work, but within that of the
Iya.
Ministry of Civil
Sumpah kemarin
Affairs.
amprolas lu nanti kabeh
However,
rek.
I'm sure that the ministry will be relatively lenient, considering that, as you say, you were
Makanya
ignorant of the
naik
danger
kam
you
sih.
posed.
Suk 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 suk.
Don't worry,
Soalnya
Mr.
lali madani
Crossell.
laptop
I will
pisan.
make sure that all the evidence
Mhm.
presented here will be
Gua
handed over to the
dulu
ministry.
Samsola sih.
I trust that you'll give them your
Loh,
full cooperation in their
pusreng.
investigations.
Dah.
Kak ono sih gelem serang be aku ah.
What?
Loh.
Wait. I knew.
Ayo gini. Yot,
Oh,
game
so
yot.
you knew? Oh, dear,
Ayo,
Mr.
aku nggak
Crossell.
anu
But if you knew
Angela.
of Smaragdus jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would you?
Huh? No, the
Kita
hairpins
adik anu
aren't actually.
turnamen
Aren't
ya.
actually inlaid with
Di
genuine
kurungan mana?
Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were
Yo,
about to say?
wis. Sembarang sih aku.
You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will
Ngeri.
have to pay Mr. Chow
Kupra.
10 times the original price in Mora?
Heeh.
Udah pernah
Mr.
pakai Kupra
Crossell,
sebelumnya.
your answer, please.
Udah.
My client and I are waiting.
Tapi nggak hafal
Damn, he's
posisinya.
seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. I confess.
Cik,
The
ngeklaim,
ore I had
ngeklaim.
inlaid on those hairpins
Diem, Bet.
was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too.
Ngeklaim,
I invested a
ngeklaim.
great deal of time and money into acquiring
Iya,
that small amount of
Iya,
Smaragdus
Joko.
jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of
Iya,
jewelry that would
kancamu.
fetch a fine price.
Jangan invitin aku
But
invite.
after receiving it and
Emang
carrying it
iya.
around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't
Mhm.
sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation too.
Melayu.
I
Melayu
went to
banter.
Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of
Bet,
stone
Bet.
cannot be worn as
Melayu aja
jewelry.
nggak tahu.
But how could I let all that money go to
Melayu
waste?
yang Melayu.
That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite,
Apa
which
ayo
is almost
lupa gitu lagi.
indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus
Okay,
jadeite in a specially
then-
made box.
Ah,
I
bahasa
daren't touch it
aneh-aneh.
again. I
Menurut
was
aku
worried
nggak
that
aneh.
someone would see through it, which is why I
Jangan,
only
jangan,
dared to
jangan.
rent them out, not sell
Aneh
them.
apanya?
And then to
Keren,
top
keren,
it all
keren.
off, Jiqiao lost
Oh iya,
the
kenapa
hairpins
split
after I
yo?
rented them out to her.
Ya aneh aja. Nggak
Ya
asing.
kau aja.
Asing
Kau aja yang aneh.
The real deal. Why'd you make her pay so much?
Kau aja yang aneh.
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora, and that is final.
10 times?
Croso looks like he can faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
Okay, Wan.
There's no need.
Iku
It's
saya
fine.
Golden.
You don't have to pay me that much, Mora.
Eh,
Even if the
yeah.
Smaragdus jadeite on
Cowet
those
timid
hairpins
berarti.
was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jichao,
Aku mah bebas.
However, Mr. Crossel, since you have no use for that chunk
Trio
of
niki
Smaragdus
random
jadeite,
koyo
why don't you give it to me instead?
koyo
I'll consider us even.
Hah? Maksudnya?
But
loro siji.
This cursed rock's brought me enough
Kudu
grief
iku
as it
kau no
is.
adik.
Miss
Sing
Yanfei,
solo player kan
I'll
saya
turn
kira gak iso
this
ketemu
Smaragdus
dua
jadeite
betul.
I trust that it will suffice as
Sing
remuneration.
duo tok trio gak iso.
Well, that's not quite how the rules
alah.
say this should go, but
Sing
whatever.
trio pasti
It'll
ketemu
do.
duo.
Thanks so much for
Sing
your
trio
help this
masih
time,
ketemu
Miss Yanfei.
duo.
When you have the
Sing
time,
duo iso
I'll be
ketemu
sure to
solo.
visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony.
Tak
Now,
pikir
if I may confirm
trio
this
mek
again,
duo iku
Mr.
mesti
Chow,
jadi
have you
siji.
and Mr. Crossel come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Kalau berlima
Well then,
ketemu
that's
berapa
good.
orang? 5
Mr.
juga.
Crossel, it seems that my client
Ya,
has no
5.
further claims against you.
Selalu 5 atau
Is
beda?
that so? That's good.
Maksudnya?
That's good.
Selalu 5
Actually,
ketemunya atau
Mr. Crossel,
Ya selalu
I'd like to
5.
talk business for a
Lima.
second, if I may.
5 selalu
I could
5.
see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore
Lah terus
business,
kan
and we have
adik
a
jaluk
fair
ketemu
stock
piro
of
pet
fine
10
ores.
ah.
If
Ini
we could
kan
join forces, your
Loh,
jewelry
gimana
designs
sih?
and our choice
Ini kan
ores,
cuk.
I
Namang
think we
takone
could do some
ML ya.
fine
Bro,
business between us.
Minecraft masa aku ruta.
Let me think for a moment.
Makanya main ML aja, Bet.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus jadeite that Granny wants too.
Alah,
All's well that
bilang
ends
aja
well, eh?
cupu.
Exactly.
layarnya
Usually
ini
when
yang
someone tells us they've lost something, we
Limit.
end up searching
Limit.
all over the place for it.
Cik kan bisa ganti
You managed to solve the problem with
screen
just a big stack of documents.
Ya mending ganti HP
Even though the
daripada
solution didn't involve
Ya
actually
udah tinggal
finding the
ganti aja.
hairpins.
The right
Babi
solution
tinggal
depends on
diganti.
your perspective on the problem.
Deko kan
The objective
orang
of my
kaya.
client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay
Nah ya anak
compensation.
sultan loh.
So,
anjing.
rather than looking high and low for some hairpins,
Nah itu.
proving that the rented
Ya,
item was nowhere near worth
celini
what the
lu
vendor
enak
had
ya,
claimed it to
Irwi.
be was the more efficient
Iya, skill
solution.
siji ini iso setengah anjir nyone.
An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took
Sangat
part in that
tidak
battle,
masuk
didn't you?
akal.
In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means
Aku
precious
langsung
little
kali
to me
sakmu dulu
compared to my
gitu.
job
Tak
as a legal
sekilan
advisor.
ganteng.
In any
Iya
case,
anjir kak.
don't you think that the
Anu,
Liyue Harbor of today needs legal
overpower lah
consultancy
cariku.
far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Kalau kon banding nge-skill waduh lho
Well,
ringi.
since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit.
Oh iya anu
I bet
pasti
she's been
kan.
on tenterhooks for a while now.
Kakura yang ngeselin anjir.
Dono kan.
Tanon wae. Iya. Tanon wae ya plus level 3. Link. Ah, mampus lo. Loh, Kakura nanti kok hilang. Oke. Oke, linknya kena first blood. Ampun.
Ah, you've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus jadeite?
Laser mana?
Good,
Gak apa-apa.
good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you. All right then. Go see to your business.
Langsung mati.
Granny should be able to handle the rest.
Deleted anjing.
I'm off then. Bye. Oh, yes, Traveler. Make sure you
Neng
don't
aku
lose the
yuk.
business card I
Tak
gave
ada
you.
kakurai.
I've been
Tan
looking into the
kakurai.
laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly.
Cuy,
Regulars
nyokur
get
sama ini
discounts
anjir.
too.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you
Ampun.
not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot. Hmm?
I'm leaving. I'm
Aku
leaving.
lihat kalah jangan lek range karo beli.
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious.
Dulu.
The father was hardly so riotous or
Bisa,
fond of
aku
talking
semenggo ilo.
nonsense back in the day
Saya
when he
kena.
stood
Si
beside Rex
kena on gak
Lapis.
mau masuk ilo.
Indeed she is.
Sumpah.
Liyue has
Iki
changed.
tak kira
and
Franco iku
the
bolo
Adepti
anjir.
must also
Kok
learn to
merono.
change. Yan
mati,
Fei
Pe.
might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all.
Linknya artinya nyolong buffmu kok.
Liyue is not the same place I once knew.
Kawannya li.
All
Mati
right
man,
then.
Ono
Let us
aurora
speak of
bareng.
this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh,
Ampun.
I'm so excited!
Ampun Kagura.
It is but a
Nunggu
single
anjir.
teapot.
Skill jiku.
It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a
Oh, no
moment.
poloi. Mau ngapain?
There we go. This serenity pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly.
Mampus lo, mau ngapain lo? 2 versus 2
Who
sini
knows
anjir.
what might happen? Take these
Yeah.
blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Ya, mati aku kena link.
Wait a minute, Granny. How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about
mampus lingi.
that. I've already arranged for a
Ih, aku mati
certain
anjir.
little
Enggak.
helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to
cuy.
know about it.
Mari.
Loh kok hilang? Gak bisa mati aku. Palang-palangan payung. Kak kroso anjir. Kak tartu lah. Oh, saya ngebuff kan.
Ngebuff aku.
Lempar payung. Dulu kok kurang Bruno. Kurang Bruno.
Berkali anjir pakai Forge of Divine nih.
Apa itu?
Untuk biar bisa nyala mod ya.
Kilo gold. Siapa kena?
Kurang ajar.
Mampus lo.
Bisa berat ya Forge of Divine-nya.
Ya elah. Execute-ku gak kepite. Execute-ku gak kepite anjir. Ya
I'll remind you again.
Lihat.
The law can be both a help
Menurut
and a
sih live ya?
hindrance.
Enggak kan?
Nggak tahu.
Masih ya. Anjay, mau jadi live stream. GG.
Untungnya. Link. Nyampah gue. Apa Kagura? Anjir, diapain aku cuy? Sakit cuy.
Baru DB kecilin gak ngotak
Iya anjir kak. Anjir. Kemarin lek posisinya ku pinter. Gak bisa mati cuy.
malesnya ketemu Pove tok ilo lek kecilin aja nih.
Iya, soalnya kabur mek sekali gak sih? Ini.
Terus dipencoloti so anjir. Nemburi masalahnya. Kan waduh jarai. Ulti.
Ya mati ya Aurora.
Lapar
ya.
Telur lah.
Ya udah masak telur. Itu aja susah.
Oh ini kan.
Apa sih Kagura ini resek kali loh. Kak kroso.
Sisku selimoy.
Wah, ngeri. Kok asisto ya ket mau yo.
Iya.
Ya, ultiku gak ono. Kalah. Nasi OTW. Ya, cuma titik. Tak sampai, sorry.
Tak ratakno iso emang.
Iya sih. Sini ulti aku, gak kroso wan
Pengen nyoba sekali skillku sapiro nek wan.
Setengah yo. Langsung seperempat yo.
Rapat.
Gak ngotak anjen. It's ampun om. Tik.